Hello, my name is Jenny Malman. You're watching Jenny's Biblical Messages. Today I want to talk about astrology and what does the Bible say about that? Well, astrology is the interpretation of an assumed influence, and this influence is the stars and the planets. So it's anything with an assumed influence that has to do with the stars and the planets. So it's your horoscopes, it's looking up at the stars and doing any kind of predictions and things like that. So what does the Bible say about that? First, we're going to go to Genesis 1:14, which says, God makes the sun for the day and the moon for the night, and he also makes the stars. So the first thing we need to know is God made the stars. God made the planets, the constellations. He made all of this. So if God made it, it is good, right? We need to understand that. Everything that God makes is good. Psalm 147:4. He determines the number of stars and calls them each by name. Not only did he make them, but he named them all. That's pretty fascinating when you sit and you think about it. There's also in Genesis where it references God talking to Abraham and telling him that he is going to have, his descendants are going to be as many stars in the sky and sands on the ground. So it's telling him that you can't even count the stars in the sky. That's how many descendants you are going to have. So many. And we are part of those descendants. Okay, let's move on. Deuteronomy 4:19. And when you look up at the sky and you see the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the heavenly array, do not be enticed into bowing down to them and worshiping things the Lord your God has appointed to the nations under heaven. So God has appointed them. God has made them. But are we to worship them? No. Are we to bow down to them? No. Are we doing that when we read our horoscopes? Yeah, we are. We are. We're taking something that man made and put into, well, the influence, this interpretation. He made it into an interpretation and an influence. And then predicted that this is the way you are because you are a Pisces. This is the way you are because you're a Gemini. You have these certain traits because the planets aligned and you were born at this time in this place. The planets did align and you were born at this time in this place. But you were born for such a time as this with God. Not for anybody to tell you who you are through the planets. You see, anytime we take anything, and we turn it into an idol or a god, that is blasphemy. That's something that God hates. We need to understand that. It's really so simple and we make it so difficult. We do. We make it so difficult. God hates it when we do that. So why are we doing it? Why do we continue to do the things that God hates? That's something I think we all need to ask ourselves, right? Why do we continue to do that? All right, here's a good one. Let's go to Isaiah 47:13 and 14. All the counsel you have received has only worn you out. Let your astrologers come forward, those stargazers who make predictions month by month. Let them save you from what is coming upon you. Surely they are like stubble. The fire will burn them up. They cannot even save themselves from the power of the flame. These coals are not for warmth. This is not a fire to sit by. There's going to be a fire. Are you sitting by, you're sitting by the fire pit and you're talking about the stars, and you're gazing up to the stars, and you're talking about the astrology, and well, who are you because an astronomer told you who you were? Not who you are because God told you who you were. Plus, when the end of time comes, are you going to go to an astrology book and ask what's going to happen? Heck no. You better be going to God. He's the only one that can save you. Astrologers can't save you. Now, look, I grew up doing this. I had an astrology book. I went through it day by day, and I read my horoscopes, and I studied everything about me, and oh my gosh, that is me, and it's hard. I hear people all the time saying, well, what are you? Are you a Virgo? Are you a whatever? And it's just like, now it's just like, oh, that was really bad that we did that all that time. So James 1:5 says, our wisdom comes from God and not from the stars. Plain as day. If you don't remember the rest of it, remember James 1:5. Our wisdom comes from God, not from the stars. And Psalm 119:05 says, the word of God, the Bible, is our guide through life. Not a horoscope book, the Bible. Okay, so let's stop twisting things that man made and idolizing it as God. Let's start putting more of our faith in our Creator. Something to think about today. Have a blessed day, everybody.